Well, it seems that the tide is turning in the sunshine state of Florida, and not really in the way that Ron DeSantis might have hoped. This is a rare and sort of delightfully defiant move. Republican lawmakers in Florida decided they've had enough of playing the role of Ron DeSantis's personal rubber stamp. And after years of bending over backwards to DeSanctimonious's will, the Florida Republican-led legislature is pushing back. And I love this. I love this. Here's what's going on. For 6 years, Ron DeSantis has been the undisputed king of Florida politics. The draconian anti-immigration policies, his culture war crusades, the authoritarian handling of the pandemic. He has ruled with a sort of iron fist, we might say. And for those 6 years, Florida's Republican lawmakers, they just fell in line. They passed his agenda with barely a whisper of dissent. But all of a sudden, it's a whole new ballgame, because this week, in a special session that we can really only describe as a political mutiny, Republican leaders in the Florida House and the Florida Senate did something that is almost unheard of. They told Ron DeSantis to take a seat. They rejected DeSantis's call for a special session on illegal immigration, which has been a pet issue for DeSantis that he uses for grandstanding year after year. And instead, that Florida legislature called its own session. And as if that wasn't enough of a slap in the face to DeSantis, they also overrode one of his budget vetoes, reinstating $57 million in funding. And the last time that this happened was 2010. This is a power move. DeSantis is melting down. There's a bigger story about DeSantis's role and sort of place in the Republican Party, which we will get to. But first, let's look at this video of DeSantis all worked up about it.
It's not enough to just say we're not a sanctuary state, which we're not. It's not enough to just say we don't have sanctuary cities, which we don't. We need everybody on board. We got to work as a team. Otherwise, this stuff just isn't going to work. They also bizarrely strip immigration enforcement power from the governor and give it to the commissioner of agriculture. But agriculture has not exactly been known for immigration enforcement. So it's almost like the fox guarding the hen house. It was bizarre. I think it was more a sop to folks who want cheap labor. That is totally bad policy. That can't happen. They also bizarrely didn't include things we know needs to happen.
So there's a couple interesting things here. First, let me kind of explain what DeSantis wanted. What DeSantis wanted to do here is impose criminal penalties on local police who didn't help federal immigration enforcement. This is something where when the deportation federal forces come in and they want help from local law enforcement, DeSantis wanted it to be criminal for local law enforcement to say, we're not going to help you. That was rejected. The Florida legislature said, we're not going to do that. DeSantis also wanted to expand his program of flying undocumented immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. That was this shameless stunt, better suited for The Apprentice, quite frankly. That was also rejected. And DeSantis wanted it to make it more difficult for citizens to get constitutional amendments on the ballot. And the Florida legislature said, it is not happening. Instead, they introduced their own immigration bill. It's called the Trump Act. They're naming it after the guy who defeated DeSantis. And it includes some funding for immigration enforcement. It strips away a lot of Ron DeSantis's power. It gives the state's agricultural commissioner, Wilton Simpson, some of that power. And even Democrats in Florida are enjoying this rare moment of Republican infighting, because it's really not just about policy. This is about power. And Ron DeSantis had a very good run in Florida consolidating it, and now that seems to be changing, and that's what I want to talk about. Political wins. Let me find the right way to, I need the right language for this. There's an inherently fickle nature to American politics. You're up and suddenly you're down. You're riding high and all of a sudden you're nowhere. We've seen it happen to Anthony Weiner. We've seen it happen to Rudy Giuliani. We've seen it happen to George Santos, high and low, all sorts of different examples. There was a point early in the 2024 Republican presidential primary where Ron DeSantis, as the ascending king of the Republican Party, to some seemed almost inevitable. Who's going to be able to stop this guy? He's going to beat Trump, he's going to beat Biden, he's going to be president. And a little bit of it at a time, it gets chipped away, chipped away, chipped away. Trump did pretty significant damage to DeSantis, who really did not do well in the primary. He was on the outs with Trump. Then Trump said, no, he's okay. But even though he and Trump have more or less made up, you just sense that DeSantis's stock is trading very, very low right now. If you were to say, could DeSantis come back and maybe be the Republican nominee in 2028? Yeah, maybe. But if that primary were held today, DeSantis has no shot. And a lot of these things, as we know with politics, is timing. A lot of it is alliances. A lot of it is media coverage. And even though nothing particularly bad or humiliating has happened with DeSantis as far as Republicans would consider it, he's just not riding high right now. And sometimes when this happens, you start adding insult to injury or injury to insult. And now the fact that everybody in the Florida legislature, Republicans in the Florida legislature, recognize DeSantis isn't riding high right now. We're going to impose our will on him rather than rubber stamping every last thing that he asks us for. And it's just and it's a vicious circle. Because DeSantis' stock is low, the Florida legislature is willing to say, we're not doing it. Because DeSantis is being ignored by the Florida legislature, it only hurts his stock even more. So unless something changes, DeSantis' time may have come and gone. 4 years is a long time. We will see. But you can't help but feel a little bad for the guy, right? No, I'm kidding. I don't feel bad for the guy at all. He's an absolutely terrible person. Did you know that an estimated 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away every year? Our sponsor, Blueland, is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and better for the planet with the same cleaning power that you're used to. The idea is super simple. Blueland offers refillable cleaning products with a beautiful, cohesive design that'll look great on your countertop. You fill your reusable bottles with water, drop in the tablets, wait for them to dissolve, and you'll never again have to grab the bulky cleaning supplies on your grocery run. Refills start at just $2.25. You can set up a subscription or buy in bulk for additional savings. And Blueland products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands. They are free from dyes, bleach, and harsh chemicals. From cleaning sprays to hand soap, toilet bowl cleaner, laundry tablets, all Blueland products are made with clean ingredients you can feel good about. Blueland is trusted in over 1 million homes, including mine. I've been using the Blueland dish detergent and the toilet bowl cleaner for a while. Couldn't be happier. And you'll get 15% off your first order at blueland.com/Pacman. The link is in the description.